Alrighty. Team White. Let's try d4 this time. Last time it's e4, Karol-Khan, Panov, Botvinnik. Now we're going to have... No, let's go with this. The Levitsky attack. Knight here instead of d5, it's the Trompovsky. Levitsky attack. ECO code is D00 for those of you that like to look it up like that. Let me just take and be assured of the pawn structure. So now, won't be having to worry about e5, will I? So if there's a strike at this, it's coming with c5. I like this, I think. Just support my pawn. Yep, support my pawn and look into c4. Now, did I play King's Attacker before with this line? I might have. Let me get this in. And Knight c3. May seem a bit weird to be opening up the position like this because I don't have the bishop pair, but I'd like to overtake the only pawn that black has in the center, so let me put more pressure on it. It's hit twice, defended once. There is no way to pick that knight off with like bishop check, the knight's guarding it. Queen check, the knight can be retreating. So what to do with this situation? Does black cave in and just take and allow me to recapture and develop? It might be okay. Do I want to push forward here and kick this bishop back? I actually wonder about that. There might be something to it. A knee-jerk type of reaction to a c5 move like this would be, well, initially the bishop backing up to meet the threat, but shortly thereafter some e5 strike at d4. But maybe there's something with c5, b4, b5 expansion looking to play on the queen side. I might want to do that. Let's give it a shot. Let's give this one a go. Why not? Let's get developed. Knights are out classically. Where does my bishop want to live? Here? Seems good. I could eventually gain a tempo with queen c2. Right now, this pawn is unprotected. Attacked once, defended once. In my eyes, I'm viewing it as unprotected. Who saw that video? Devoted a video to that small concept. Anyhow, queen c2, castle, b4, a4, b5. Right here. If you're seeing, well, I have a space advantage on the queen side, so I'd like to have this guy right here wants to have a buddy right beside him right here. This pawn wants to be here. I don't think that there's any hurry. Should I castle? Or just run with it right away? I'm gonna castle. Let's go. I think if an f5 move is, well, there it is. This knight is on a, he's ready to play into this square, which is going to be a bit annoying. Let me see if I could induce a weakness first. g6. I was thinking about a g3 move, but I think that's too weakening. g3 to just stop this f4 push, but I think that well, I think g6 needs to be played here. Queen here interferes with this knight's journey. Okay, so I don't have to worry about the knight coming here, but if this pawn pushes, I think I just follow up with this move. So I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. In fact, I'll try and show that this bishop is maybe out of play. If the pawn plays to f4, I could be going with e4. And if the pawn is not taken, maybe then push here. Now, usually I'd want to go with a4 and b5, but I have enough support for it right now, so I probably should not hesitate with just going for this right away. In fact, since black did not take the time to play a6 to be preventing this b5 move, what could eventually occur is that this pawn on a7 becomes a liability. You know what I'm talking about? After a6, I have to play a4, and then after b5, there's chop chop. There's no a pawn to be having to babysit. It could turn out to be a problem. A rook once placed on, let's say, the 7th would be hitting not only the bishop but the pawn, and who knows whatever else. There's a lot of stuff here. 7 pieces, 7 pawns and pieces on that 7th rank. That's why they call the rook a pig. He gets hungry, he eats a lot of pieces potentially. So here it is. Here it is. This is what I was talking about. Let's go. I do not want this bishop to be seeing h2 directly. Now this knight is a little bit uncomfortable, but maybe this queen is going to be uncomfortable as well, because after I take here, I think there's going to be some issues. If I take with my bishop, I'm threatening to win a pawn, but I don't know if I really want to go pawn grabbing. But wait a second, if I take here, I'm hitting both pawn and c6. I don't know if I want to allow this bishop to take up residence on that d5 square. If I take with the knight, I'm hitting the queen. The queen will likely play here. Or no, maybe h6. Knight takes, queen h6. Knight here, hitting the bishop. I don't like this bishop coming out here. How about bishop takes and then something with a push in the center? I think I might be liking that best. You know what? Actually, if I take here, there might be bishop here. Hang on. Let me go with something more forceful. It's easier to calculate. Okay, there goes the queen. There goes the queen. Okay, now I'm going to go after that bishop. I think he's a giant pest, and I don't want to have to deal with the pest. Bishop here, maybe I could just do this. I want to get rid of the light square bishop. I would like to have a pair of knights off the board. If I could exchange both of these knights for this knight and this bishop, I think I would I'd be really happy. I'm starting to become a little bit happier now though, because I don't have to worry about the light square bishop anymore. So let me get rid of him, and let me just take here, and let me do what else? I might want to do this move just to stop that. Okay, I'm going to do it. Queen is kind of running out of squares. I think that might be an important one to just stop. Like, let's just stop the nonsense altogether. Can we just do that? Let's play here. Stop knight b4, also 7th rank stuff. I don't know this knight is going to bother me. If this pawn, black would much rather not even have this f4 pawn. It's being very disruptive to 3 pieces, 4 pieces. Right here, I don't think there's going to be a better spot for that rook. I need to get this guy working. A minute versus about 45 ticks. Okay, there's that a pawn that I could be taking. I'm going to do something more forceful though. Right here, threatening to get that knight and then the bishop. Okay, now I'm going to go here. I'm hitting the bishop again. 50 to 30. And I think it's actually beat. There's no saving this bishop now. It's very restricted. Okay, yeah, this is dropping now. Now lead to mate if there's rook takes. So this pawn, for sure, really acted as a big defender of my own king side. Now I have a passed c pawn. This knight is gluing everything together here. I just want to move my bishop away and then push my c pawn. Okay, so we had a time issue right there. Alright, good game, king's attacker. Let's back up and see how either one of us could have improved. So, the Levitsky. I've seen... I forget who covered it in a video. I forget who it was. Let's see. Well, after this capture, the G pawn could, of course, still be capturing with, and then there's still this possibility for E5. And maybe maybe this is still okay. But I think the queen move right here, there's an adjustment for that. I think, I'm assuming that black's idea was to get that knight into E4, and I think following through with that idea is still best. I was a little bit happy to be seeing queen F6 because the knight can't play here, so maybe just G6. And then follow up with the knight F6 to E4. Also, I think it's worthwhile to make white, when it comes time on the queen side expansion right here instead of the king move. In the game, I ended up winning a piece, but you'll note that I could also maybe be winning a pawn in many variations. So again, taking this pawn into account, I think at this point right here, you should first play A6 and make me work one move harder to get the B5 move in. So play A6. This is something I had to experience firsthand because that happened to me in an over the board game, and okay, I learned from it. I was like, well, what if I could have just gotten rid of my A pawn somehow, because it turned out to be a liability. So anyhow, A6 maybe. And I'm thinking just G6, knight F6, knight E4 as a better try. I think things start to be pretty good here. Is there something crazy? Like, there's got to be some. I mean, it's slow and steady progress over here on the queen side. If black doesn't do something quick on the king side, I think everything is going to turn out to be okay. And I think this pawn push is now the last what? This turns out to be an issue. He gets in the way of all the black pieces. So I had a good response with E4 after F4. E4 I think is the correct response. So anyhow, I think it's the knight that should be going for this E4 square and try and prevent that B5 move with A6. So all right, those just some quick points. Good game.